had self-doubt. I had self-doubt that I could be anything in society just because the statistics say that, growing up without a father, you're more likely to either end up in prison or, to be honest, 6 feet under or, not really making a life for yourself. And so I had that self-doubt that I could even be anything. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flip That Switch. I'm your boy, B to the Sis Nai. We back with another episode. If you didn't get a chance to go watch the last episode, please go back and watch it. We did an episode on what is meaningful friendships. So I had my sister-in-law on and we talked a little bit about her journey and kind of what, she looks for in a friend. So very good episode. If you didn't get a chance, please go back and watch that before you tune into this one. But today we're going to be doing another episode. And as you can see, I don't have a guest with me because I wanted to kind of tackle this subject solo. And it's my first time going solo, but it's just something that I wanted to kind of talk to you about from an intimate standpoint. And so the topic that we're going to be talking about today is self-doubt. Self-doubt is something that we all struggle with. Self-doubt is something that everybody goes through. If you've lived a life, you've gone through it. Sometimes it creeps up in your mind. Sometimes it creeps up in your head. And sometimes you just don't know how to navigate it, And for those who want to know what self-doubt is, really is just a lack of confidence in yourself, a lack of ability that you think you may have. And, a lot of people, they go through it in life and we have to get out of our own heads, out of our own way, So a little bit about my journey. There's a couple things that as I was coming up in the world that I had self-doubt about. The first thing I would say is really forgiving my dad. It was one of those things where, as you guys know, I grew up without a father. As I was coming up in the world, it was just me and my mom, me and my mom against the world. And my mom raised me by herself. And we just went through life, chugging along, making sure that we were good, making sure that we had each other's back and that, we were a team. But, there's times where I struggled. I struggled because I had friends who had both their parents, and here I was without a father, without someone really to teach me how to play sports or teach me how to be a man. And it kind of affected me, and it affected me for a very long time. And as I got older, I resented him for the longest. I resented him just for the simple fact of how could you have a child, make a child, have a seed, have something that's supposed to be your legacy. And here it is, you not even wanting to be there, And so I resented him for a while. And I honestly had self-doubt that I could even forgive him. Fast forward to today, I have forgiven him. And, we still don't have a relationship to this day, and that's fine. But at the same time, I've forgiven him for everything that occurred, because at the end of the day, forgiveness is not for really me necessarily, it's for the other person, right? But I had self-doubt. I had self-doubt that I could be anything in society, just because the statistics say that, growing up without a father, you're more likely to either end up in prison or, to be honest, 6 feet under or, not really making a life for yourself. And so I had that self-doubt that I could even be anything. And it took people being in my corner that really, really was there for me and rocking with me, and people that I grew up, just really wanting to be like, people that were mentors in my life that kind of stepped in, not as my father, but as a father figure to me, to help me kind of realize that, I'm important, I'm valuable. God put me on this earth for a reason. I do have self-worth, and, I can bring a lot to society. I can make an impact still on the world. And so it took people being in my corner to help me realize that. But I did. I had self-doubt, and it was one of those things where I just didn't know if I was going to be anything just because I didn't have that influence. Yes, I had my mom. She was helping me and taking care of me and making sure the bills and stuff were paid. But at the end of the day, my mom couldn't teach me how to be a man, you know. And in order to make an impact, you have to be a productive man in society. And so I just had that self-doubt, but luckily I overcame it, just with having people in my corner. And so here, the man that you see today, trust me, was not the man that that I thought that I would be, just because I had that self-doubt. I would say another self-doubt that I had was, would I ever get married again? I was married before, and you know, obviously the marriage didn't work out. And so for me, I had self doubts on if I could really be a husband for someone again. I was, when I got out of that marriage, I was kind of just like doing my own thing. I was having fun. I was going out, embracing my singleness. And I didn't even know if I wanted to be married again. Because for me, it was like, when I was in that marriage, you give your all to something and then it doesn't work out. And it's like, okay, dang, I got to start all over, So, that self-doubt creeps up in your head like, man, can I do this again? Can I give my all to a woman again? Can I be the husband that ultimately God has called me and is calling me to be again, And so I started to self-reflect. I started to talk to God and pray and seek God to determine that, is this the path that I'm supposed to go down? And, God would reveal it to me in the form of destiny. I met her, and I mean, you guys know our story, but when I met her and I started pursuing her and I started really seeing her for who she is, I started to actually also see myself for who I am. And I realized that God didn't mean for me to go through this life alone, And so with that, I pursued her and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this again, after getting that confirmation from God. But it took a lot of prayer because, I was comfortable. I was living on my own. I was going out, hitting date parties. I was meeting people. I had a lot of acquaintances, situations. And I was having fun, And so that was the easy comfortability that I was experiencing. And I had to tell myself, if you want to do this again, you got to get uncomfortable and you got to flip that switch. Saw what I did there, guys. You got to flip that switch and really start preparing yourself to do this again, get to know someone again, and dating, and really being intentional about the vision that God has given you, which is for you to be married and have kids and to really have a family and go through life, So again, one of those self-doubt examples that I overcame, now I'm a husband, I'm a father, and really it's just all about me and my family, and just continuing to be the husband and father that I've been called to be, and making sure that my family's good. But without prayer and without really just digging down deep and having those conversations with God and understanding and realizing that, it's cool to have fun. It's cool to go out and kick it, but that's not ultimately what I have for you or what's designed for you. It took that for the self-doubt to really like get out my head, and for really me to get out my head, just realize that, there's a bigger plan and purpose that God has for me, and it doesn't involve singleness. And I'm not even knocking anybody that is single. I mean, obviously, if you're single out there, I'm sure you do have self-doubt. I'm sure that you doubt that you can find somebody, or you doubt that, God's going to bless you. But I will tell you that if it's meant for you to have someone, if it's meant for you to go through this life with someone, it's going to happen. You should have all the confidence in the world that you right now are enough. You right now are valuable. You right now You're actually more than enough. You know, are there things that you want to work on? Sure, absolutely. We all can work on things. We all can get better at things, but us trying to get better at things really doesn't define who we are. You know, our character defines who we are. What's on the inside defines who we are. How we treat people defines who we are. How we act when we're in public or how we act when we're on social media, that defines who we are. And so you have to understand and realize that you are valuable. You are more than enough. And when it's your time and the right person comes along, they're going to see that value and they're going to add value. And it's going to be a situation where it'll be harmony because you'll already be where you're at. And this person really is just coming in to it really expose already the character that's inside of you. Help bring that out, help build that up even more. You know, you guys are going to leverage each other's strengths and, you know, whatever weaknesses you have, that person is going to make up for that. The lack thereof, that person is going to be there to do that. So I would tell you, don't have any self-doubt. Continue to have confidence in who you are and your abilities and what you can bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, when it's your time, you'll be sent the right person. Now, I'll say this on the flip side of that. Don't block your blessings. Don't block your blessings. If it's your time and you get sent someone and maybe that person checks, I don't know, 90% of the boxes, maybe there's one box that they don't check, still give it a chance and an opportunity because maybe it's a situation where you get with that person, you start dating them, you fall in love, and then at some point maybe the box does get checked. But don't deny your blessing just because initially that box is not being checked. Because if this person treats you right, if he's doing good by you or she treats you right, she's doing good by you, then, I mean, that's really how it's supposed to be. You know, all the boxes are not going to get checked. I don't know anybody that checks 100% of boxes. I mean, to me, that's unrealistic. And so you have to put yourself in a position where if you're talking to God and you're really trying to receive the blessing, if he sends it to you, you got to have an open heart and an open mind for it and, you know, to receive it. So last thing I'll say is another self-doubt I had was, could I do social media? It's funny because, you know, you guys see us on camera and, you know, we're doing our content thing but like you wouldn't notice about me, but I'm actually a pretty private person and I've always been a private person. Like I don't let too many people know my business. I really don't like my business out there too much. I really don't even like being out there too much. To be honest with you, I'm not a photogenic person. Even though, you know, we take photos and stuff like that. Like literally I am a private person. So I don't even know how we even got started on the social media journey. Like I was the type where if you would have asked me 8 or 9 years ago, would I be doing social media? I would have told you no. I would have laughed because I'm like, nah, I can't do this. I can't get in front of this camera. And what's funny is that the very thing that I thought I would never do, God was telling me, yeah, you need to do. Because even though I'm a private person, I'm still an extrovert. I'm still like a clown. I like to make people laugh. I like to have fun. I like to joke. If you ask any of my friends, that's just who I am, you know. And so when we started this social media journey, I didn't know how this was going to go because I'm like, man, there's no way I can do this. I just don't want my business out there. You know, when you're on social media, you know, people see inside your house, they see your lifestyle, what you got going on, even though you only giving them a 30 to 60 second clip or, you know, a 30-minute vlog of the totality of the situation. It's like, but dang, they still go see inside my house. They still gonna see what we got going on. They still gonna see us doing our thing. And what's funny is God was like, that's what I want them to see. I want them to see how when you go through a journey like IVF, how people can overcome that. I want them to see that Black love still exists in the world. I want them to see that families are still important. Being a father, being a husband is still important. Having fun with your significant other is still important. Taking trips with your significant other to decompress and to reset, that's important. You know, going out with your friends, even while you're married, to just get you time, that's important. So all those things God was revealing to me, like, you need to show people that side of you. And at the end of the day, I was like, okay. And I was obedient. And now it's like, there's a bigger purpose on why I feel like me and Destiny do our videos, because we're just here to make an impact. We're here to inspire others. And, if one person comes away with inspiration from who we are, how we live our lives, or what we do, how we act, accordingly, then that's a fulfillment for me. And so for me to really be in this space is kind of tapping into uncomfortability for me, because I was never this type of individual. And like I said, when I met Destiny, we were like, man, let's just, COVID was going on around. Well, COVID happened about a year and a half after I met her, but our channel was supposed to be just like a travel channel. And when COVID happened, there was so much darkness in the world. COVID was causing so many issues and problems for people. Businesses were shutting down. People were passing away from COVID. I mean, the outbreak was just really affecting our world. And so I feel like when we pivoted and started doing the other things like the pranks and the challenges and making people laugh in the comedy, it was really meant to kind of bring some type of light to a world that was really, really dark. And I had self-doubt about that. I'm like, nah, I don't really want to tap into that. I'm good. I'll wait till COVID's over and we can start back traveling again and, doing the channel, what we do for the channel, what we wanted to do for it. But nah, I had to let that self-doubt go and be like, you know what? You can do this. You already have the personality to do it. And you just got to get in front of the camera with it. You just got to expose it. It's already there. It's already inside you. You're doing it anyway. And so I say that to say the things that you may not think that you can do, you can for sure do. And the more and more it starts creeping up in your head, the more and more it starts creeping up in your heart, the things that you're passionate about, at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. Do I want to tap into these things and leave the self-doubt out? Because you will never fulfill the purpose and plans that God has for you if you continue to have self-doubt, if you continue to limit yourself, limit your abilities, put yourself in a box. That's just not the way it's designed to be. You're put on this earth to create a lane, make an impact, and bless others and inspire others. That's just what we're put on earth to do. And we have to understand that the life that we live is not just for us. The journeys that we go on, the steps that we take, it's not just for us. And it took me a while to realize that. It took me a long time. I'm thinking I'm just living life, doing my thing, and coasting through, and that's just what it's supposed to be. I'm good. I'm out here living. I'm having fun, and that's what life is all about. But it's just so much more to it than that. There's so much more that you have to offer. And when you put yourself in a box, you can't really fulfill that purpose or them plans. Self-doubt is really something that we have to get a hold of, because the society that we live in, the world that we live in, it teaches us to have self-doubt. It teaches us, it teaches us that you can never be this person. And this is really where we have to also be careful about comparing ourselves. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again, because comparison is really, really a big thing. And society teaches us that we should compare. And if we're not where the other person is, then we should just give up. We should just give it up. I don't have the house that he or she has. I don't have the cars that he or she has. I don't have the money that he or she has. I don't have the family that he or she has. I don't have the education, or I don't have the followers, the subscribers that this person has. So I'm just a failure. That's what is designed to teach us. The world and society that we live in, unfortunately, there's a lot of hate that goes on. There's a lot of negativity that goes on. And, if you continue to ingest yourself with all of that, you'll start to convince yourself that, you know what, you're not enough. You'll start to convince yourself that you are not where you should be. So let me just give up. And then you stay in that little box and you get comfortable with where you are in life because you feel that you're not enough, because you feel that you can't go to the next level. But I want to tell you that that is not the case. You have to overcome society. You have to overcome social media. You have to overcome the world. And this is coming from somebody where social media is our job. It's our job to be on social media. But we are on social media not for the wrong reasons, it's for the right reasons. It's to be able to inspire and motivate and encourage people like you to say, you know what? I can do this. Instead of me comparing myself to, this person, let me go ahead and create my own lane, because there's more than enough lanes to go around. There's more than enough opportunities to go around. And you have to realize that, yes, it may take you getting uncomfortable to create that lane, but sometimes you just got to do it. You got to do it. You can't have people in your ears telling you that, oh, no, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. It's not going to work out for you. I don't see it happening. No, you need to test that out for yourself. Align yourself with God and test it out for yourself. And you keep throwing stuff at the wall and you see what sticks. And whatever sticks, then that may be your lane. But you can't put yourself in a box, and you can't limit not only what you can do, but what God is calling you to do. The fulfillment has to happen. And, it's right there for you to do it. You just got to kind of get out of your own head and just go for it. For me, I've had a lot of examples of self-doubt in my mind, and now I have overcome that. And the reason why I've overcome that is because I've allowed myself to realize that, yes, I can dream big. Yes, visions can be manifested, goals can be attained, dreams can be attained. You got to have a little bit of delusion. I did a podcast with one of my friends, and he was talking about, sometimes you got to have a mind of delusion to really dream big and to get yourself in a mode to where you can start acting accordingly to manifest your dreams. You have to defeat self-doubt. You have to defeat the ability to you have to basically defeat being put in a box. You have to get outside of your comfort zone, and you got to go out here and do it. Have confidence, have self-awareness, kind of, know your personnel, know who you can lean on, who are really your people that really inspire you. Take a look at those people. And when you take a look at those people, it's not that you want to compare yourself to them, but you want to see what they're out here doing in the world. You want to see the good that they're doing. You want to see how they're out here acting. You want to take a look at their IG page and see, okay, is this a wholesome person? What is their character about? Have those conversations with them if you can, And that's what's going to really inspire you. It's not the materialistic stuff. It's what's on the inside. It's what's on a person's heart that you should be paying attention to. So yeah, that's it. I really was inclined to come on and talk about self-doubt because I know that that is a topic that's really major and a lot of people experience it. I've gone through it. So, I feel like I'm qualified to talk about it because there's been plenty of times where I had self-doubt and I wanted to give up, and I wouldn't be here today had I did it. I wouldn't have the family that I have. I wouldn't be on here inspiring, trying to inspire you guys. I wouldn't have this podcast. I feel like I was put on this earth to do this podcast, to really kind of touch on these different topics with people and give people a side of others that, they may not see, because again, we're in a world with social media and society to where a lot of people don't get to really be vulnerable. A lot of people don't really get to express themselves in a way that is vulnerable and that may make them uncomfortable. And so I felt like I was tasked with providing that space for people, and I'm going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to attack this thing together. We're going to continue to motivate each other together and build each other up together and encourage each other, because that's the only way that we're going to fulfill what the plans and purposes are on our lives. And we have to understand and realize that this life is not for us. It's God's using us as a vessel to impact others and to impact the world. And as soon as we realize, I'm telling you this, man, as soon as we realize that we are enough and our confidence goes up and we just realize that we're valuable, the sky's going to be the limit for so many people. We will be able to go out here and conquer anything that we want to conquer. And all it takes is really just knowing your worth, knowing who you are, knowing who you belong to, and really just aligning with him and tapping into that. And once you do that, man, you'll be unstoppable. You'll feel like you can literally go out here and move a mountain. But as long as you continue to have the self-doubt, lack of confidence, you'll just stay in a box. And I don't know about you, it's just not meant for us to be in. It's not meant for me to be in a box. I realize that. And the more and more I tap into who I am, and the more I tap into the things that I'm trying to do, I just realized that the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. So go out here, be great, continue to surround yourself around great people that have character, people that are doing good things in life, and continue to know that you are enough. I cannot stress that any more than I already have. Like, you are enough. You are more than capable. You have creativity. You're right there. You just got to tap into it. You just got to tap into it. And when you do that, sky's the limit. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're tapping in with us on IG, where we post reels from the episodes. And if you can't watch us, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast at Flip That Switch. Again, thank you so much for rocking with us, and we'll see you soon. We out.